What's such a for another reaction? And in today's video, we have Oldheads Are Actually Stupid by UVXCX.
Alright, so the other day I thought about like that interview with Uzi and Ebro, where Ebro basically had told
Y'all gonna always bring this up and rub this in Ebro face.
Uzi that, well, more so he heavily insinuated that he wasn't going to last in the game and how he wasn't a rock star and all this, and it got me thinking about how a lot of artists, a lot of the artists that were a part of that mumble era are still around today, or they're not. But most of the artists that were like a part of that whole wave, that had all the old heads, quote unquote, and a bit of a ditzy
Design, my nigga. Ain't that boy got arrested for public indecency, jerking it on the plane?
back then are still around, unless they're dead. That includes Ebro. Now, here's the thing about this guy, right? Back when I first watched this interview, which was like when it came out, so Uzi was with the green hair. I want to say this was like 2016. I did
Yeah,
not
2016.
understand the cultural significance of Ebro and Hot 97 overall. Now, whether that's because I wasn't from New York or I was just a kid that just liked music in the modern era where streaming was becoming more popular and the radio was showing signs that it was dissipating, is neither here or there. But later down the road, after doing some research, I understood. Hot 97 at a point was like a massive gatekeeper for hip hop. I get it. So, a quick little history lesson or whatever is that this was in the era of hip hop where, like, sure, it was booming in the streets and clubs, but the radio was still a bit like hesitant to actually embrace it fully. But then Hot 97 was like, okay, you know what? We'll do that. Biggie, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Nas, Hot 97 was putting them on, so to speak, Funkmaster Flex, like, I get it. And that kind of gave me a bit more of an understanding as to why a nigga like Ebro felt like he could talk to Uzi in a kind of way, almost with a condescending tone, right? If y'all remember. And that's cool and all, I guess. But even with that, this was 2016, a year with hindsight massively changed the hip hop industry for a long list of different reasons, and Uzi was definitely a part of that.
It's gonna be a lot of young guys coming up here and they ain't gonna want to rap on that. I'm trying to tell you, it's changing.
Yo, look.
Ebro's struggling right now. Bro, Ebro was never funny or entertaining. Like in the business that he in radio, you have to be funny. Like we want funny people like Charlemagne. Academics could do it. Academics funny as hell. He's doing it on stream, but they ain't really. He got a podcast, so that's podcasting. You know what I'm saying, but he ain't on radio and shit. But you gotta be funny. Ebro wasn't funny. Like he say the most outrageous shit to get attention. Like he said Drake don't have a single classic album and that a Drake classic album would never happen.
It's changing.
No, I hope they change.
It's changing, bro.
I hope they change. I hope they change. But as I've seen with all you little young motherfuckers that think you nice.
Yeah.
He is pretty nice, though.
You nice.
Yeah, I'm good.
Y'all get to like 27.
Yeah, you nice. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Like, when someone that's like clearly better than you with something is trying to teach you something and you get that high elo stare from them, like, you feel like they're just disappointed that you don't understand something. That's the vibe I got from that
I'm
interview.
gonna say you're nice.
The craziest part is that Uzi, along with several other artists, ended up showing this nigga and many other of the quote-unquote older generation that sometimes change is necessary. So first of all, let me get this out the way, right? The term mumble rapper was always so corny to me for a multitude of reasons, right? Because first of all, these old niggas were basically saying, oh, they're not even speaking English. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Hobson. I'll always have a soft spot for that nigga, but go watch that No Words video that he
Hobson, but you listen to Hobson Gang.
dropped in like 2015 where he was basically making fun of Future and Migos. But what he and a lot of other lyrically driven rap listeners failed to understand was that these artists at the time were focusing way more on the melody of a song rather than telling a specific story. You know what I mean? Like with jazz and rock, it's way more about the sound design of the song. And I think because hip hop had been around for such a long time, a lot of artists that were coming up in that era were leaning towards that. Something that rap fans at the time were inherently not used to. At least to the extent of Uzi making beautiful ass songs like With My Crew. If you've never heard that song, first of all, I'm jealous as hell, but it's a very perfect example of where hip hop was heading because Love Is Rage came out on Halloween in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, or October 30th. One of those days. But lyricism and all this wordplay stuff was dominating hip hop for a very long time. And when the new generation at the time was like, yeah, we're not doing that, it kind of felt like sacrilege. Like, y'all are disrespecting hip hop culture, yada yada. But it wasn't that hip hop or rap or whatever was being disrespected. It was simply just shifting priorities. Y'all gotta remember, right? This era was like 2014 onwards, right? So with the rise of streaming platforms like Apple Music and SoundCloud and Spotify, nobody was really checking for like hard-hitting lyrics, at least not the youth, like we all, yes, we, me and you, wanted replayable music. So it's only so much lyrical, schmirical, Eminem and Nas I could take before I just started getting annoyed. Like, bro, I know y'all think I'm old as hell, probably because I say it all the fucking time, but when I was like on the bus on the way to school, I just wanted a song that I could vibe with. That is the era I grew up in. Like, I was not trying to hear no bars at like 7 a.m., bro. On my way to eat one of them nasty ass school pizzas in the morning, bro. I know y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. Them shits were poison. But a lot of other kids, around that time felt the same way. And that's why niggas like Uzi was going up, because he genuinely made great music along with Migos and Cardi. You know what I'm saying? Like, the numbers told more of a story than these old niggas did. I'm just keeping it a buck, man. I didn't give a fuck about what a nigga named Ebro had to say about Uzi in 2016.
Yeah.
You'll say you're a rock star when we say you are. Shut the fuck up, man. That's why his weak ass show got canceled years later, and here most of us are still rocking with Uzi. But I'll come back to that later. Actually, no.
Yeah, that boy barely cracking like 10K viewers on YouTube. 10K views on YouTube.
Oh, fuck that, because I don't like this nigga. I'm not gonna lie. In the past, people like Ebro and other critics and veteran artists, whatever, had really substantial influence over public perception when it came to rap music. That's fine. Undeniable, even. But that time was coming to an end, and it was clear as day. Ebro's dumbass could not see it coming. And you could tell from the way he treated Uzi in that interview as if he was like the stepfather, you don't like me, but you will respect me. That type vibe. And Uzi seemed to catch on pretty quickly that he was damn near trying to sun him because my fans won't be disappointed, yours will. That should have told Ebro all he needed to know, because at this point, in 2016, rappers were able to develop their own relationship with their own audience. Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter. These social media platforms took power away from niggas that felt like they had the game on lock. We didn't need no goddamn approval from Ebro or Two Dope Boys or Complex. Really anything that was hip-hop media that acted like a purist for the culture. We didn't care anymore. Think about how cult-like Cardi and X's fan bases were before these niggas even did interviews for rap media.
Right.
I speak to my fans. I help my fans. Because I try and be in depth,
Your shit is weird because you have a crazy ass following on social media and stuff, and like it's not like necessarily the craziest like numbers, like 10,000 or whatever. Or how many are you on SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, I'm at 18.5.
But like the numbers are retarded because it's like you really seem like, and just the number of people who have asked me to interview you is fucking insane. Like
at the time, hip hop fans like myself, honestly, started to value what was genuinely authentic over, oh cool, you can spit a hard 16 bars. Like, I guess I give a fuck, bro. Most of y'all should remember when Yachty went on Everyday Struggle and got chewed out by Joe Budden because Yachty said he was just having fun with his music. But the ironic part about that interview,
Joe Budden was like, but we won't hear where you come from. You said you dropped out of oh my gosh, you can't speak. You said you dropped out of college, or whatever you said.
Viral. Joe even made a very self-aware comment in the middle of his rant when this happened.
I play that song for these old head niggas like Joe, and he's looking at it and he's analyzing it from a perspective.
Look at Joe's face, bro. Why Joe got a permanent meme mug? Like,
that will not appreciate your talent.
But that's you just sat there and told a bold-faced fucking lie.
And nigga look like Carlos Boozer, like
old niggas fucked up. We like all this fun shit. I don't want to hear me in the fucking club. We don't like what he represents.
Truth be told, one of the big things which I've told him is that he gets the same like negative energy from the old heads.
Look at what Ed got on Off-White, bro. Ain't Off-White in Zoomies or something now?
As Uzi, as other people that kind of do what they do, he's the only nigga who responds.
The old head stigma was very apparent, and the funny part is that all this criticism from them actually pushed mumble rappers. I cannot believe we were really using that term. That's crazy to me.
Oh yeah, I remember the Snoop Dogg clip too.
It really pushed these rappers into the spotlight even more. Uzi and Thug and X, those are the names that came to mind when I thought about this. Like, they had those very emotional songs that I think really resonated with the youth as well. And that just further showed that this shift was happening in hip hop at that time, because it was obviously about who could rap the best, but that shit was getting OD boring and fast. Now, I want to circle back to Ebro one more time, because I don't think he's inherently a bad guy. I just think a lot of his actions are really stupid. And I think that if he was a bit smarter, he might have seen the cancellation of his show coming years before it even happened. Now, I get it that he's a New York nigga, so he's kind of just bound to be a dickhead, but I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but on this channel, the one thing
New York niggas about hard-headed as hell.
I seriously don't like in human beings, whether it's the industry or really anywhere, is ego. And Ebro had an ego. Ebro represented an older, traditional perspective on hip hop, right? And I get it, because the dude is old. But what I didn't appreciate from him, literally ever, was how close-minded he could be towards the new generation of artists. And I mean, if I sat here and compiled every time that he tried to just sweep someone new under the rug that's actually dominating the rap game right now, the compilation would be at least 20 minutes long. Now, to be skeptical of a newer act or really anything in this industry is not that bad to do. But this nigga did it every fucking time. His style of interviewing never made sense to me. Like, oh yeah, we got a new guy up here coming out with the album pretty soon, and that's cool or whatever, but tell me what it is you appreciate about hip-hop. God damn, dude, Uzi was like 21. That's a grown-ass adult. But right now, I don't even remember what I was doing at 21. I do know I was a whole different person with a less developed mindset. Not saying I was a dumbass, but I just wasn't as wise as I am right now. And all I can say is that even at 21, Uzi knew his standpoint in rap. And Ebro, whatever the fuck age he was in this, couldn't even open his mind up enough to see that a change was happening right in front of him. In fact, he was just challenging it even. And a lot of these older guys did that, and it made them look stupid in the end because, A, some of these guys took it as disrespect. There's a whole compilation on YouTube of rappers calling him out to his face for the bullshit he be pulling. And then B, right? The radio was in the midst of like basically dying. I mean, I made a whole video about that, right? So these guys still thought, and still to this day think, that radio ratings actually mattered. When whole time they didn't matter anymore. Nobody like gets in the car and cuts on the radio. I mean, if you do at this current
Like, for real.
moment, it's probably gonna stay that way. But if you also do, you're probably like 40 something. I mean, I'm gonna just keep it a bug, bro. Nobody like under the age of 25 is cutting on the radio. Like, and if you do, of course, my fault. But the point is, these older guys like thought that, oh, the radio will be around. iHeartRadio just did a deal with Netflix, right? Because they understand fully that the real money is in streaming. These radio stations are fully aware of that. That is why their show was canceled.
Netflix trying to turn into YouTube. That's what they trying to compete with. They're trying to turn into YouTube.
Because if you go look at like what like type of ratings they get, nobody gives a fuck about Ebro and this bald Rosenberg. Nobody cares about this shit anymore. Genuinely, like. Anybody could do their job. That's kind of the main point here. And they just were not able to catch on. That's why they lost their fucking job and why they're doing what they're doing now, because they just are hard-headed, honestly. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying the old heads were wrong for valuing lyricism. What I'm saying is that in the end, as much shitting on the newer generation as they did, hip-hop literally transformed in front of everyone's eyes. And now
You just need a fire beat now. Like, niggas just like them beats keep up.
it's transforming yet again. There are kids coming up right now that are heavily influenced by the people that I watch blow up. It's actually kind of crazy. But the newer generation, or the mumble rappers that didn't die, well, they're still around today and successful simply because the world was changing, not just the hip hop industry. Like, everything was changing and just becoming more like fast, I guess. I don't know. But I guess fast is like how I would explain today's rap industry. Literally, it fits in very well. And I was gonna end this video, but then I ended up seeing this one clip, bro. Please look at this.
He's still around, and I'm still. I lost a job, and he got more money, and he's still here, and all the things. But I ask you, while his hit songs are going around right now,
Are any one of y'all excited for a new Uzi album? That's what he said.
are you guys highly anticipating the Uzi Vert album?
Personally, no. For the most part, Uzi Vert doesn't miss on projects.
Eternal Take 3?
Mind you, there is no Eternal Take 3. This nigga is a fucking bot, Chad. There is no Eternal Take 3.
I mean, okay, one out of how many? 5 or 6?
But out of how many? 5 or 6?
Gang, y'all don't listen to Uzi. Ain't stop at 5.
What are we talking about? Nobody in this...
Yeah, Yeah, Ebro, you about to lose this show too. I ain't gonna lie.
Room knows what they're talking about. I just want y'all to pay attention. Nobody knows what they're talking about.
You missed on that, right?
Yeah, but I said hardly.
Okay, all right.
I
My
said
fault.
hardly.
Now I don't know about y'all, but it seems like bro is still on the same shit. And that's the thing with the older generation, bro. They are so unbelievably hard-headed and stuck in their own ways that even when there is irrefutable proof that they're wrong, it still won't matter. And that's Ebro. I'm sorry. Even watching that podcast with Nadeska and the other dude, I don't even know his name, they literally do not know what they're actually talking about. Like, you can tell they were only talking about a certain topic because they just felt like they had to. And I feel like that's just really...
When it comes to Uzi though, I've been saying this. I think Lil Uzi could do the Super Bowl. I think he got enough hits, like mainstream hits, like radio hits. He gonna have to do the little TikTok songs. Cause you're foreign, and what EXO tour life. I just want to rock. You have to play them songs, but I think he could do the Super Bowl. That's me. Do y'all agree? I think Uzi could do a Super Bowl halftime performance.
inauthentic, and that's why most of the youth doesn't pay attention to shit like this. But I don't know. I feel the rent coming on, so I'm just gonna wrap this up here, man. I love y'all so much. I'm UVXCX. Later.
Make sure to comment, subscribe, and all deuces. W video. Like